What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mark Dark, and I'm back with another video. If you're new, if you love BMF, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like the video and leave your theories, comments, everything down below. Now today we're going to be talking about BMF Season 1, Episode 5. This is the recap. So I'm going to try my best to go over all the key points in this episode. If I miss anything, you guys let me know down below. And man, what a very good episode 5. The war between Lamar, Meech, and Terry. Things are getting very interesting, right? We know in this episode, Meech and Terry, they was finally able to neutralize Lamar. At the same time, continue to expand their organization, moving away from Pat. And now we're going to see some of those consequences of their actions in the future. But man, they definitely did what they needed to do in this episode. I mean, at the end of the day, we know Meech's game plan to kidnap Zoe probably wasn't the best thing to do, but I guess he felt like it was needed to be done in order for them to get the stash back, in order for them to get the money to pay off Big L to get the re-up. So we're going to see, man, how it's all going to play out. But let's begin, man. What did we see in this episode titled Secrets and Lies? And at the very beginning of the episode, we pretty much see how all families, all people, they lie about the smallest little things. Now, one of the funniest parts of the episode for me, of course, was Nicole. Of course, she is lying about what she is doing. She's in her book looking up some MC Lyte, legendary rap artist. And it just goes to show you how everybody does this. Everybody has the small little lies. Your boy Charles, he is lying to Lucille. She's asking him, does her outfit look good? And he's looking at her like, no, not really. But of course he's going to lie to her and just tell her, yeah, you look good. But that was a very funny scene. Now we fast forward, we get back to action. And at this deposition, it seems like the lawyers, they're trying to pretty much attack Terry's character. They're saying, look, you most likely probably sell drugs. You're walking around here or rolling around here in a Mercedes Benz based off your parents' work history. There's no way you can really be affording this, right? And all these expensive clothes. And they're pretty much trying to say his lifestyle led to what happened to him, on top of him trying to leave the hospital when he was told not to. So they're going to try to use this as leverage in order for them not to be paying Terry and his family. But we know at the end of the day, they're going to have to pay up. They're going to have to pay up. This strategy, I guess, is clever, but we know Terry, they're not going to settle. At least for right now, they're not going to settle. They're going to give them a number later on in the episode, which was $25,000. And at the end of the day, we know Terry definitely wants more, and his mom, she wants more as well, especially after what the hospital has done. Then we get to your boy Meech. He's having a conversation with Pat. He's telling Pat, look, it was good doing business with you. It's time for me and, my brother to walk away. Pat ain't having it. He does not like this. He's telling Meech, no, you guys are going to pay me my investment. I pretty much raised you guys. I put you on, and it's not going to be a friendly push out of the nest. Now, your boy Meech tells Pat, you getting high off your own supply. Everything that Meech is telling Pat, these are the things that Pat has taught Meech and Terry, and he's pushing it back at Pat, but Pat does not like it. He doesn't like to hear the truth. So he makes it be known that he doesn't want Meech to get in his way, or if he does, he's going to wax him. So this relationship between the two is pretty much done for. It's not on good terms. And Pat is going to do whatever it takes to make sure he brings down Meech and Terry. He does not want them doing better than him, it seems like, right? Then we get to your boy Lamar. And in this episode, at the beginning, he's having the best life ever. You know what I'm saying? He's back with Monique. He is getting what it seems like to be unlimited cheeks. And then, of course, his daughter, she is liking that he is back in the house. She's going to cook some breakfast for them, pancakes. Everything is seeming very, very good, right? Now, he tells Monique, let him pick up Zoe from school. He wants to take responsibility. He wants to step up and do better this time. And Monique, at first, she was like, I don't know about that. But then she said, okay, I guess so. And I will say the smartest thing Lamar has done in this episode was clap Monique's cheeks one last time, because it's probably going to be it right here. This is it. So this was very smart for him to go ahead and get one more up out of there, because we know after this is all bad news for your boy Lamar. Then we get to Meech and Terry. Of course, Terry lets Meech know about what they said at the disposition, and Meech is like, man, they catching on, so maybe you should just settle, because we don't need them digging into our stuff, finding out more information about us. But deep down, Terry doesn't really want to do this. He does not want to really settle for this. And of course, Meech is telling him he has a game plan to get the stash back, and it's a game plan that Terry probably isn't going to like, but they need this money in order to pay Big L, in order for them to get a new line of product. Then we get to Lamar and Saki. Lamar has found out that Meech has picked up Zoe. In order for him to get his daughter back, he has to give up the stash. And Lamar is very pissed off. He's upset. He is calling the crew. He is telling them to get ready. We about to go to war. Know what I'm saying? He wants to know exactly where Meech, his family, everybody stays. He's not playing around anymore. And as I told you, at the very beginning of the episode, that was Lamar's best moment, because after that, it was just straight up bad news for him. Now, we find out that, the hospital, they want to settle for $25,000. Your boy Charles is like, man, that's a lot of money. We good. Let's just take that. Of course, Lucille, she's not having it. She's like, I don't know about that. I don't want to just settle for $25,000. That's not enough, especially for our son's vision. So at the end of the day, this is not going to happen. She wants to get more money. And for real, Terry wants to get more money too. He doesn't want to just settle for that easy $25,000. We get to Kato and B. Mickey. And I'm glad that B. Mickey, he addressed it. He said, man, all of a sudden, you let me clap your cheeks every day. And at first, you was kind of playing me. So what's really going on with you? You know what I'm saying? And Kato, she didn't really give the best explanation, but B. Mickey is reading her. He is starting to figure out, like, okay, something's up with you. So his awareness is there. Now, of course, Kato, she gets, the information from Meech that she needs to get to this location, and it is an emergency. So now she has to leave, and she's shook. She's probably thinking that she's done got caught up. Now, Lamar gets to the crew. He's having a conversation with Tiny, and he's telling him, look, we got to go and handle business, and we got to take out family members, whoever, uncles, they got to pay. Now, Tiny is telling him this is not the best way. This is not the best approach, and we are going through this because of your actions, what you did with the stash house. I mean, what did you expect? Lamar plays it off, comes back, and beats the crap out of Tiny. And he lets everybody else know he's not playing around at all. I told you guys in my final predictions that this is going to be a problem. Lamar being very over-aggressive. His crew, they're not going to like this at the end of the day. And it's going to make people have different feelings when it comes to Lamar. Now, we get to a very interesting character, Mr. May, and he is talking about he is a witness. He has saw the car, he is pretty much telling them some details about the car, the size, the measurements. I'm looking like, dang, like this dude should went to school for forensics or something, because this dude know everything, right? He got his numbers down packed, right? And of course, they put up a lineup and they asked him, does any of these guys look familiar? And he says no. And Detective Bryant asked him one more time, and he said, nah, he don't notice anybody. And that was it. Now, I believe Detective Lopez was wanting Detective Bryant to ask more questions about that lineup and about what he really saw. But that was not the case. Detective Bryant wanted to make sure this guy right here, look at him, gave him the Kermit the Frog look back. He wanted to make sure this guy right here disappears. And he looked back and he was like, man, maybe, this guy does look familiar. You know what I'm saying? I think I did see this guy. Kermit the Frog looking boy, he has to go. We knew right then and there he was going to be an issue. And Detective Bryant knew right then and there that, okay, I got to set something up. Ain't no way I can let this guy sit around, because eventually he is going to give up some information that I don't need coming back on me. And as I told you, Detective Lopez was all over this. He is peeping everything that Detective Bryant does, and he is noticing that he's not aggressive when it comes to anything that has anything to do with the Meech. Now, We get to the parents. Charles, of course, he is telling Lucille that he believes Terry's a part of all this, that maybe the $25,000 is something that we should just take, and you don't really believe that, the whole story about LaWanda's uncle in the car. You can't believe that, right? And Lucille's like, look, they're trying to play my son. Yes, I believe it. He has nothing to do with the drugs. He is good. My son won't lie to me. Well, I guess you're going to find out very, very soon the truth. Then we get to your boy Meech, and Meech is telling Kato that he needs her to pretty much babysit Zoe. He needs her to sit there, babysit her while he goes out there and handle business. Of course, she is not really trying to do this. She has all these different, options. But Meech tells her, look, you a foot soldier. You supposed to, follow these orders. So like, what you talking about? And then out of nowhere, Lamar calls. Kato takes the phone while Meech and Terry are both sitting in front of her face, goes to the back, talks to Lamar. And I'm looking like, really? So they didn't, find out what she is talking about. They just left. Now, I guess they just wanted to leave real quick because they did not want, her to continue to question them. And they wanted her to watch Zoe. But of course, Lamar, he is trying to find out information about Zoe, but your girl Kato ain't giving him nothing. She's not giving him any information at all. But I found it very odd that she just, grabbed that phone and dipped out like that. I was thinking that Meech would be like, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? But that never happened. Now, speaking of Meech, he's having a conversation with Terry, and Terry's like, man, this probably is not the best thing we should be doing. This whole Zoe thing, Lamar, this dude is getting on my nerves. We got to figure out something. And Meech is like, man, well, I can't just kill the dude. And Terry is like, that's not really a bad idea. Maybe we should do that. Now, Meech is like, really? Like, you don't want to do this. I mean, you were shaken up when we had to bury Rock and, all the stuff you've been going through. Dude, that ain't what we were about to do. We cannot do this at all. So just, calm down. Everything is going to be cool. We get back to Lamar, and he has to go to Monique, and he has to tell her the bad news. Now, while I'm watching this, and I understand that Monique and Meech had, some bad things going on at the very beginning of the season, but man, it really felt like this was all part of the setup. I really was feeling like, man, is Monique a part of this? Like, is she setting this all up? But then, once the dialogue starts to go, you realize that she is not a part of this at all, that your boy Meech really did this and did not let her know anything. And now we already know she's going to be very pissed off at him as well, including your boy Lamar. And then Lamar, he goes to the stash and he's having a conversation with Kato, and Kato is actually protecting Meech, and she is, I guess doing her job when it comes to this game plan. You guys have been saying, and I've been saying, she cannot continue to play both sides. She's going to have to choose. And to be 100% honest, I don't even know about the girl, man. This girl's all over the place. What I do know is this: she will get hurt very, very soon for doing what she is doing, in my opinion. Of course, we saw Zoe and Meech outside, and Lamar, he's just sitting in there, and he doesn't even know it. And of course, he's telling Kato, look, I need some information from you. Let me know if you hear anything. Now, Lamar says, you know what? I'm going to call and have a conversation with Meech. Now, Meech is in the car. He's with Zoe. He's telling her he's going to get her ice cream, all these different things just to make her feel good. But she is asking about, when she's going home, and that she was supposed to get picked up by her dad and stuff like that. Of course, Lamar has the conversation with your boy Meech while she's sitting right there. And Lamar is telling Meech that he is not giving up the stash at all. He tells Meech, if you're going to do what you're going to do, just do it. So Lamar ain't, he's not settling down at all. He's cool. He said, it's going to be what it's going to be. And Meech is like, okay, I see what time it is. I guess we're going to have to put more pressure on his soldiers and see if we can find a weak link. And of course, they hem up Slick. They throw him and some other members of the 12th Street Boys inside that trunk. And the game plan is to get him to at least give them some information. They know he was a part of the whole stash thing because he is limping. So they know he was shot. But Slick, he held it down, man. He was not giving up any information at all. For a moment, I thought your boy B. Mickey was about to catch another body. he had the strap out, man, and he was about to catch another body just like that, but they decided that was not the best thing to do. Of course, Slick is running his mouth. He starts to talk about Terry's child, and that's the last thing that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to disrespect no kids at all, especially after everything that Terry has been through. You just don't want to do that. So they beat him down. Then we get back to your boy, Detective Bryant. We know that Detective Lopez told him about the missing earring of J. Mo, and Detective Bryant already knew what was up. He's like, okay, that missing earring is in my car, and I got to go in there, and I have to find this before someone else finds this. And Detective Lopez was sitting out there as Detective Bryant found that earring, that stud, and he had to play it off. The boy, Detective Lopez, ain't playing around. He is trying to crack this case, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to get it done. Now, Meech, he has a different approach when it comes to Slick. He says, you know what? I'll show y'all how to get the job done. He takes Slick and he has a conversation with him. He shows him that, look, this is what's going to happen to Zoe. He, has him look out the window. He sees Zoe inside the car. He says, look, the last thing that you want to happen is Lamar to find out that you had the opportunity to save his daughter and you did not do that, all because of a stash. So what you want to do? Do you want to deal with Lamar? Because when it's all said and done, I will, let him know you had the opportunity to save her. So now Slick is like, okay, I guess so. And he gives up the location of the stash. And of course, Zoe is able to go back home. Lamar is very happy, but he does not know the full details of what's going to happen as far as Slick. And he's going to be very pissed off when he realizes that Slick gave up that stash. Now, your girl Monique, she's pissed off. She was very upset this episode about what went down. She's blaming Lamar for everything that he has done. Tells him she does not want anything to do with him or Meech at all. Now, I don't know how long this is going to last. In her description, it does state that she is, a paralegal and she's supposed to be helping out Meech. So I can see her and Meech, squashing it later down the line. But she is definitely done as of right now. Very pissed off. As I told you guys, Lamar's best decision that he made was clapping those cheeks for the last time at the very beginning of that episode. Then we get to LaWanda and Terry. And Terry's like, man, everybody wants me to do these different things. LaWanda is telling him, what do you want to do when it comes to this whole case and this settlement? Maybe you should start doing things the way you want to do them. Maybe you should start to, think about everything that's going on. Is all of this really worth it? And your boy Terry is thinking like, man, maybe I need to make some better decisions. Now your boy Pat, he tries to pull the old okie doke. He tries to say, you know what? Maybe I can get Detective Bryant on my side. He is telling him he has some information and he is willing to pay him as long as he works for him. Now, Detective Bryant, he is loyal. He's like, look, I don't know what you're talking about, but if I come up in here again, it's going to be some bad news for you. I'm not flipping. I ain't switching on Meech, even though you got some issues with Meech, even though he broke your heart. It ain't going down like that, partner. So now Pat, it ain't looking too good for him because he's like, man, I thought I was going to, catch Meech slipping. But no, in this episode, Meech was definitely able to make the come up on all his enemies. Now, speaking of enemies, we know that Tiny is a part of the 12th Street Boys and Lamar's crew. But after what Lamar has done to him, he's like, look, I'm all about business at the end of the day. I ain't about no crews, no gangs, no colors, none of that. I'm all about that paper. So now him and Meech have a business relationship, and it seems like this is an upper hand for Meech because that's one less enemy that he has to worry about, and that's one less soldier that Lamar is going to have. Then we get to your boy Terry, and he is having a conversation with Meech about Big L. And he tells him, Big L only wants to do business with me. She said, you too flashy, plain and simple. She only wants to do business with me. You ran, the game with Pat. Let me run point with Big L. I got this. Of course, Meech was upset. He was like, really? Like, I'm flashy? I'm too flashy? Like, really? He was really pissed off about this, man. Had me cracking up. But if you follow BMF, at least in these documentaries, one of the main things that is talked about, that Big Meech was always too flashy. So I like how they put that together in this episode. Now we get to Detective Brian, Detective Lopez, and make a visit to that witness's house, Mr. Mays. And of course, he's supposed to have some more information, right? But as they're knocking on the door, they're not getting any answer. One of the neighbors pops up and said, well, he ended up leaving. He had all these boxes and stuff. So they're pretty sure that he has left town. And you can tell the look on Detective Lopez's face that he knows something is up. And of course, there's no aggression from Detective Bryant. So he is putting two to two together. He's like, man, something's not right about all of this. Something is very fishy about everything. Now, Detective Bryant goes and meets up with Meech, and we already know that Meech, along with Detective Bryant, executed a game plan to get Mr. May up out of here, because Mr. May can give up some information that can lead back to Detective Bryant, and he can mess up things with Meech as well. And Detective Bryant is telling him, look, this is it. This is our last little exchange. I'm done with all of this. And then he leaves. And then all of a sudden we see this station wagon, and we don't see nobody in there. Then all of a sudden, your boy, Detective Lopez, he pops up and he's looking back. He's giving us his Kermit the Frog look. He is looking back because he's like, okay, I know what time it is. I knew he was a part of all of this. So now Detective Bryant, along with Meech as well, they have a problem, because now Detective Lopez is getting closer and closer to the truth. And y'all know how it goes. When you get too close to the truth and you have all this power and information, usually bad things happen. So we're going to see how this is all going to play out. I cannot wait to see the conclusion of this storyline. Then we get to the end of the episode. Of course, Terry, he has got the product from Big L. And Meech, he has to see this. He has to see exactly what it's looking like. He wants to know the details. And Terry is telling him, like, man, I don't know if this is all even worth it, man. All the stuff that we've been through. Do you ever get tired of all this? And while they're talking, we can see somebody getting closer and closer to the door. And all of a sudden, Lucille pops up. So she's heard everything. She knows that Terry's involved in the drug game. I mean, they was talking about J Mo, bodies getting dropped, kidnapping Zoe. I mean, your girl Lucille was pretty much hearing all this, and she dropped her glass. She was just very pissed off, and at the same time, she probably was very sad because she did not want this to be true. I mean, Charles has told her this. She's seen this throughout each of these episodes. All this evidence pointing right at Terry being involved in all of this, but she did not want to believe it. Not her little boy, you know what I'm saying? Not her boy Terry. This is the good child. He's not a part of none of this, but all the clues pointed that he was a part of this, right? And, it ended with her just walking out very ashamed and just upset, man. And the boys was just looking at her like, man, they was in awe. They was like, man, like, we caught. Well, at least the secret is out. So the secrets and lies of Terry being in the drug game is out. And we know in the next episode, they're going to have some issues. And it seems like the family will be a target. So we're going to see how that's all going to play out. I mean, as Meech said at the end of the episode, the biggest lie that you can tell is the lie to yourself. So I guess it was true in this episode. Episode 5 definitely delivered, in my opinion. Very solid episode. We got 3 more episodes left. 6, 7, 8. Man, I wish we was getting 10, but we only going to get 8 because this is, a premiere show, and they usually give us 8 episodes. But overall, man, very solid episode. I can't wait to see the aftermath of what your boy Lamar is going to do, because he had a very bad episode. Him and Pat. So you already know they ain't just going to lay down like that. Terry even said it, like, this dude, he ain't laying down. Even after he gets Zoe back or whatever, after that's handled, you already know he's going to come back. So we're going to have to figure out another way to get him. But if you guys was watching the preview to the episode, the next episode, you can see that Lamar's crew, they ain't taking his crap no more. So Lamar, everything that he has done is seeming like it's turning all bad for him. It's crazy. But thank you guys for all the love, all the support. Leave your theories, predictions, everything down below. I will catch y'all for the episode 6 What to Expect video tomorrow. So stay tuned. But thank you once again. But let me get up on out of here, man. It's your boy Mark Dark. I'm out. Peace.